welcome to another episode of LifeTalkPod with Bami. Today I have with me two wonderful guests, friends Rita and Bukola. We want to look at sisterhood, support, and real friendship. I'm glad that you guys took out time of your busy schedule to come on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. Today we want to take our time to explore the meaning of sisterhood, what it means, why women's friendship matters amongst themselves, and how it shapes confidence, how there's a sense of belonging. So, as we all know, this is a space for honesty, curiosity, for deep conversations. Without further ado, I want to introduce Bukola and Rita, like I said. So Bukola, how are you doing now?
I'm very well, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. How about you, Rita?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You're a first time guest on the show. I'm really glad you're here. And so we always group our conversations into segments, trying to break down each aspect of the topics we want to talk about. So the first segment I titled it The Beauty and Challenges of Sisterhood, So when you hear the word sisterhood, what comes to your mind personally, Rita?
Was that to me?
I mentioned Rita, yes.
So what comes to mind is sisterhood, someone you lean on, whether it be it's your biological sister or someone you see fit to share your ideology, that you can lean on, to share your trust with, to rely on, share confidences with, who shares a life course with you in different phases of your life. Basically a go-to person, really. That's how I see sisterhood in the summed up value. I mean, that's how I see it.
Thank you. And what about you, Bukola?
Yeah, I mean, what you said resonates with me, Rita. I see sisterhood as, a community of women who help to bring each other up and who encourages each other. I see them as people who really see the real you, like they see you fully, and they are even present in different areas and different facets of your life. So yeah, those are people I call sisters.
So why is there now always a feeling of jealousy, insecurity? I just want to, amongst you guys, when it comes to some matters, especially, let's say, relationship matters or, life matters. Why is it that you guys now have this kind of tussle amongst yourselves when it comes to those issues?
Okay, let me see if I can go first. So,
Okay.
yeah, so sisterhood friendships, they evolve. They are in phases of life. Sometimes this rancor comes up when, like you said, comes up when we do not know when we've outgrown certain phases of that thing that puts us together, right? So, I mean, sometimes some people start their friendships from childhood, and migrate. Maybe the next time they see each other, it's maybe at university level, after university level. At that time, some people are unable to I mean, life has happened. People have been shaped differently. Values have become different. So at some point, what is real to me is different for the next person. What they hold as true value is different for the next person. So sometimes we're unable to dimension when we've actually outgrown certain phases of friendship, or how to redefine boundaries and how we interact with ourselves. And, we don't even know when to outrightly say, no, this relationship is not working for me anymore, even though I've redefined, but we're not pushing forward. We're not saying we totally cut the person off, but you need to know when you now redimension and say, okay, this is how I relate with this person. Because sometimes you find somebody who could hold your confidence as a child, who's your ride or die friend, in the course of life has picked up being a gossip. Perhaps you don't know. Then you meet somewhere in life and you're looking at the person, and gossip, sometimes they are two-faced. So you think you really know that person from who the person was, what the person was when you grew up at a certain phase. And then you share confidences, you share your aspirations and all that. But then you think it's supposed to be secret between us, the friend that I know, the friend has a friend that they share certain things when it becomes a problem, because they share your
Yes.
confidence, and then it becomes a problem. So basically, that's the summary of sometimes when you have this discord, this gossip. We don't know how and when to begin to streamline friendships, boycott certain friendships, and put them in certain buckets of life as we migrate and grow through life's phases. So that's why you see some of these things come up.
Okay. Bukola. So
Yeah.
do you think women shy away from discussing friendship challenges openly?
I don't think they shy away from it. However, I think depending on the level of maturity you have, then you need to embrace it openly. Like in resonation to what Marisa said, I feel like one of the reasons why there are a lot of challenges and seems like people shy away from it is because people have a comparison mindset. They want to be in competition, forgetting that five fingers are not equal, and also that five set of friends might not be able to be friends for 5 years
Are
or
you
even
sure?
more years. No. Sometimes people outgrow friendship. So sometimes you might have some set of people who are still good, but most of the time, if you see 10 people growing up together, 10 of them might not necessarily be in the same area or even in contact in the next 10 years. It depends
That's
on how they board the friendship, because friendship as a kid in terms of being in university is by proximity, but when you go to adulthood, you have to put intentionality to those friendships. If you're not being intentional, then the friendship would not last. So those things are the things that you need to do to be able to, put the effort in your friendship. So as women, if you don't put effort in friendships, then you might not reap the fruit of those friendships, because everyone is thinking, oh, this person will message me first, this person will message me first. But if you think of, let me just message this person and say hello, that might even be the beginning of rekindling the friendship again. So having the mindset that the sky is very big for everyone to fly, you're not thinking of competition, that would help, get out of thinking, oh, female friendships are hard, female friendships are hard. Do you get?
So why do you not think competition,
Mm,
comparison,
mm,
sometimes show up even in close friendships? Like you said, five people cannot work together for 5 years and still be friends, which
mm,
I don't know. We'll still come back to that one later. But why do you not think
mm.
there's this competition, comparison that sometimes show up, even in close friendship, most especially female friendships? Because
I
we are
think,
talking about the sisters now. That's why I
mm,
am most particular about the female friendship.
mm. I think people compare because they don't understand that there is room for involvement. And also, we might not even be in the same line of work. We might not be in the same. Comparison is the killer of joy. As much as you keep comparing yourself, you would never find joy, because even if you try to meet up with this person today, tomorrow you will wake up to see another person doing better, and then you want to compare yourself to that person again. So comparison is a really big thief of joy. But the more you serve people in friendships, it's the same way we have like romantic relationship or even relationship with your siblings or your parents. You have to serve those relationships, you have to nurture them for them to be able to grow and for them to be able to blossom. So if female friendships don't nurture the friendship they have, check on each other, pray for each other, look after each other. Sometimes you can be in a friendship circle and you have just 50% to give today, or even for the whole week or for the whole month. And the other person is like, okay, don't worry, I'll hold the next 50. Or you're like, you know what, I have just 20% to give because I'm going through a lot at work. And then the other person is like, don't worry, I'll be the one calling, I'll be the one. So if you're not always saying, I've not even received this call from this person, I've not even, if you're not having that kind of mindset, then there will be no strife among friendship within females. But the moment you have, open mindset to understand that, life is happening to everybody. If this person is not giving at this time, I will give my 100% to them. I will serve them, knowing full well that another time will come where you will also be served. By the time you have that kind of mindset, I don't think you would sit in comparison for too long.
Thank you, Bukola. Rita. So we are all human beings.
Okay.
I said we are all human beings.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what helps you? And I know you're a Christian sister, you're a sister of the Lord. But what helps you manage this feeling of jealousy, maybe sometimes insecurity, if and when they arise? It's not. Uh, well, maybe you've managed that in the past. How did you get over it, over a situation or whatever thing that happened between you and your friend, or amongst you and your friends? Which one?
So I'm not perfect, though, I would say that, but I don't, I'm not sure. Let me say, I don't think, I'm not sure I've ever been in that kind of situation where I have been
Mm.
grossly jealous of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I would sometimes say maybe I could say a bit of, I could do maybe comparison, but not from a destructive perspective, because unchecked comparison is what breeds jealousy if not properly tackled,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure maybe the times I went through maybe comparison, for instance, say, okay, maybe your work, maybe you've okay, let's say when I was maybe when I was in finance, perhaps when I was still in banking, say when someone gets promoted over, maybe I know I am meant to be in a certain bracket of promotion, maybe the one that is supposed to be happening now, and kind of it jumps me, you know. At that time I feel bad, and like, so I start looking at what is the basis. Why
Yeah.
was I skipped and the next person got it, when I know for sure that um I'm meant to be promoted, right? So sometimes I come about it, or so I kind of go back and look at it subjectively or objectively. I do the comparison. I'm like, for a while I look at it, why? Then I go back and look at my numbers. And maybe I go and maybe talk to maybe my boss, for instance, and it's like, oh, he explains certain things to me. Now, when it is explained to me, oh, this and that and that, I kind of go back and say, okay, maybe I need to do much more to get there. Maybe that's why they skipped me and all that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not fair to myself in such situation, but it is what it is, because if I keep dwelling on it, it begins to affect my work and productivity, right? Now, again, in certain phases of life, maybe for instance, you're in a group of friendships and everybody's getting married and having babies. As women, we say, ah, God, when is it going to
Mm.
be my turn,
Yeah.
right? But then you have to, because if you then dwell on the fact that you feel time is skipping and things are skipping you by, you lose the opportunities that are open to you, because you're submerged in your self woes
Mm.
and beating up of yourself, right? Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not human to say, when is it going to be my turn? But I move on. Like, I tell myself I have to move on, because dwelling on it,
Is it so easy to move on?
I'm not, that's why I said I don't want to say I didn't do it though. I'm not unique, but somehow
Yeah.
I found ways to balance myself, because
Okay.
it becomes destructive. But I found out that, like she said, in the midst of friendships, you do not know what is in the heart of the next person, and how, because comparison comes in, like I said, when both of you and your peers are meant to be in a phase of your life and it seems
Mm-hmm.
like everybody's leaving you behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God has a purpose and a plan for everybody, because your time is
Mm.
not everybody's time, really.
Mm-hmm.
But as humans, we tend to compare and put ourselves in the gradient of every other person, forgetting that, like she said, all hands are not equal.
Yeah.
Life takes everybody differently through different phases. That it didn't happen to you today doesn't mean the best will not happen to you tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that comparison comes when you feel you have been left behind by your peers, right? When you feel maybe you're in the same walk of life and the person is excelling more than you, that's when comparison comes in. And like I
Mhm.
said, if it's not properly managed, it comes into jealousy, and it begins to depress and makes you to lose sight of the possibilities of what you can do and what you can achieve. So like I said, I would say I'm the best of myself. And sometimes maybe I've not taken the time to assess, have I truly processed those phases of my life But I know in my heart, I'll say, I may not vocalize it, but in my heart, I'll say, God, now, wow, it's happening to this person. What is it going to happen to me? But I think by the time I sleep, I wake up the next day or 2 days time, I think I'm over it really, because I kind of don't dwell in negativity so long, as I don't know how it became a self thing, but I find I don't persist in negativity so long. The next time I find something to make me joyous, I'm hopeful for the next day that the best will come by. So, but like I said, maybe I've not objectively sat down to assess those time seasons of my life, but I've never been where I been in a place where I've been toxically jealous or compared myself to self-destruction. No, I have never found myself in that kind of frame of mind.
Okay. Good for you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in to say one or two things
Yeah.
with
No
regards to
problem.
what she said? I think that a lot of times when we compare ourselves as ladies, we forget to live in the moment. Knowing full well that different phase of our life, there will be different points where you might have to wait for something. Like she mentioned, if you are not married yet and you see other people get married, you be like, God, when? When you now get married again and you see other people having children, you get again,
God,
God,
when am I
when?
being malcharged?
Exactly. So there will be always a situation of God, when is this going to happen to me? So if you just know that time and chances happen to everyone, it will take your mind off having to be sitting in sadness, sitting in jealousy, because you know that your time will come, and you also know that with time, living in the moment will even help you appreciate life. You don't necessarily have to. I mean, there are some people that would end up not having some of those things, but would they not be happy? No. They will definitely be happy. They will live in the moment. They will even rejoice with others and serve other people. That it gets to a point that those people's children will even be as those people's family will be their family. So having that, I think, is a mindset situation. If you have a mindset of, you know, joy, if you have a mindset of just community, you would get off the bandwagon of, oh, when is it my turn? I mean, don't get me wrong. I also have that, like Rita said, especially when I've sat on social media for a long time, then you start saying things and then you start thinking about your life like, this person self, when this, when that, when this. But do you also say when somebody that maybe got married before you, maybe their spouse passed away, and then you be like, God, when me? You don't say that because it's the negative. Exactly. So we just have to, protect our minds and also just have the positive mindset that, you know what, sisterhood is building a community for people who can be there for you whenever, and you can also be there for them, because it's a back and forth. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way friendship. You have to be there for them. And intentionality matters. When you're intentional about any friendship, I think comparison will wade off slowly, because even though you are not in the same facet of life, you can see that this person is doing something and you can see that I'm doing something. So we would, appreciate the stages of life that we are, and there'll be mutual respect, there'll be mutual love, and there'll just be growth generally.
Yeah.
So that's what I
Thank,
think. Yeah.
thank you. Really appreciate it. It's you guys' world, very when it comes to women. But I just like find the topic fascinating because, just trying to see how you guys balance some things when it comes to careers, friendship, and stuff like that. So we want to go to the second segment. I titled it "Friendship Through Different Life Stages." So I want to look at how friendship shifts during career, parenthood, marriage, relocation, personal growth, understanding that growing friendship doesn't always mean conflict, like she said before, maintaining connections with limited time or, the emotional capacity, how can it help rekindle or redefine old habits? So, like, it's just come up. So that's what we want to just know what helps you guys reconnect to someone you haven't spoken in a while.
Mm.
Let's have a Bukola because she answered. So let's.
What was the question?
What helps you reconnect with somebody you haven't spoken to in a while? Like you guys are very good friends, maybe you've not spoken for the past 4 to 5 months or 3 months. Let's say 3 months, a quarter. And you just say, "Oh, what's
I
up?" And
think
you guys, do you just pick up from where you guys left off, or
Okay, so
okay.
okay, did you say I should speak first or Bukola should speak first?
Vokola.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I think that nothing, beats a friendship rekindling than just saying hi. Like when you say hi, people can just be like, "Oh, what's up? How are you?" Blah blah blah. Let me give an example of myself. So, in August this year, I went to a wedding and I saw the younger sister of one of my friends that we were in the same secondary school. When I saw her, I walked up to her and I was like, "Oh, hi. Are you this person's sister?" She was like, "Yes." I was like, "Oh, your sister was in my class." And then we got talking. She was wondering. Now we've never met before that day, but I'd seen her picture back in secondary school, and I knew the face. I'm very good with faces. So fast forward to like 2 months after, we had like a alumni call in our secondary school group, and our sister was the chief speaker. So when she was done speaking, I now private messaged her. I said, "Oh, thank you for the conversation. It was really insightful. It was really great. I saw your sister back in August." And then she was like, "Oh, yeah, I think she mentioned to me, how are you, blah, blah, blah. Where are you? You're in the UK. I'm in the US." I was like, "Oh, I should visit the US next year." And then she was like, "Oh, which area?" And I said, "Oh, this place." She was like, "Oh, I live there. As soon as you come, please message me. We'll hang out together." And that was it. This person, I kid you not, before this year, we had not spoken in like maybe 10, 20 years. I had not spoken to this person for like a long time. So it just took
What
that
is 20
message.
years? Wait, I mean it's 20.
Is it?
20 years, really?
It's a long time. I've not spoken to this person in a while.
Wow.
So it was just easy to just rekindle because again, there was no bad blood between us. Things just went quiet because there was nothing to really, really, talk about, and we're just
Mm.
classmates and cool friends, housemates also. But the moment there was an opportunity to, celebrate and say, "Well done, this conversation was very insightful, was great," and then just chip in the fact that, "Oh, I saw your sister," it was just an avenue that then led us to other conversation to say,
Mm.
"Oh, if you're in this area the next time, let's catch a coffee and then we'll have a chat." So I think nothing rekindles a, you know, relationship that is already like maybe going down than just saying hi. When you see people outside, just say hi to them. They might also be second guessing in their head, like, "Oh, do I say hi to this person? I don't know if they will answer me." And your own eye, because if you are not also waiting for them to say, "Oh, let them say hi to me first," your own eye might be the one that will just open the door and then rekindle the friendship. So I just
Okay.
think, reaching out with a hand on friendship to say, "Oh, hello, I saw this thing you did, well done," or even if it's like a talk show or anything you see them doing, appreciate them. Instagram, you see their post, like it, comment, say well done. There's those things. You can't breed jealousy when you do those things. Like there's no room to breed jealousy when you are with kindness and honesty and grace towards your fellow sisters.
Mm. What's not that thing that they say always mind your business, especially when you see people doing things on social media, just mind your business. You are saying
Well,
you are saying you should reach out, which I understand.
so
But
when
I'm trying
social
to
media say
I'm trying to defend the other point.
when
On
social
this
media
on
tell
this
people to
podcast,
mind their business, I think they say
I'm always acting like the devil's advocate here. So when they say mind your business, why is it now that you are now saying okay, you should reach out instead of just minding your business and just moving on?
so. I think when people say mind your business, it has to do with like personal things. I don't think anybody will say mind your business to saying hi. It's like seeing somebody that
No,
you
no.
know.
You said if you see somebody doing something, just say I
Yeah,
love what you're doing instead of just minding your business
yeah.
and moving on.
No, that's the thing. Because you already have a relationship with them in the past, it takes you
Okay,
nothing to support them. You are not even
okay,
going to it's not necessarily you going to the event to be present there. Just
okay,
liking and saying well done, that's the support. That's what
okay.
even encourages, friendship, sisterhood, and even a community.
Okay.
You don't
So
necessarily have to just ignore
just
and
liking
say,
the post, Abby. Just liking the post, right?
you are trying to get what out of my mouth.
No, I'm not getting what out of my mind. No, I'm not getting what out of my mind. It's just like I'm trying to just like from the other point of view, like
Mm.
instead of like I don't know when you go that far. I'm not saying when you go that far and you say okay, I love this thing you're doing. I love what you're doing, and there's no response from the person. sometimes some people feel bad that maybe this person just heard me. You get, the person just heard me, and I use that. I reached out to this person, and the person just heard me. So why did I do it in the first place? So some people just feel bad, and instead of just feeling bad, just mind your business.
So I think it boils down to the reason why you did something. If you are doing it because you want the
Okay.
response back, it's different. But if you are
Okay.
doing it to just show support, it's like when you have like a favorite podcaster or a favorite pastor and you comment on their page and you like their page, you like their sermon. Do you expect them to come back to you because of how busy they are to say, oh, thank you
No,
for
but you don't
liking
know
it?
those people.
No, you are only
You don't
doing
know those
that
people
because you support
personally.
them.
No, you
Say
don't
that
know those people.
again.
You don't know those people personally. You don't know them
Mm-hmm.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
Your pastor, or favorite podcast. You don't know them personally. But this,
Okay.
like you said, you have a relationship of somewhat with this kind of person. You've
Mm.
texted the person in the back in past. You guys went to the same school or same college or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
there's this kind of relationship that the person knows you, the person follows you. So it's the emotions involved in that is different from somebody you admire from afar.
It also depends on
Don't you
the
think?
kind of relationship you had with them in the past. Some people are just high hello relationship in the past, and saying hi
Okay.
hello again is rekindling that high hello again. It's different from
Okay.
people who you are very close with. If you are even close
Okay.
with somebody, you shouldn't be on Instagram and you say hi hello. You should have their number to call them to say hello, how
Yeah.
are you? Do you get? So I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like in that kind of situation, you liking their post or commenting is a way of showing support, not
I see.
necessarily you trying to, you know, create, oh, let's be friends, or it's just showing support and making sure that there is no bad blood or no bad energy between you guys. Do you
Okay.
get me?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Rita, what about you?
That friend that can be accused or that will be accused of out of sight is out of mind. And it doesn't mean, and when I remember you, I will plan to call you. It will take
Mm.
months. That plan, that plan, it will take months. But then, well, if I haven't been in touch with a friend for a long time, I start by insulting myself first when I send the first message. Not like negative insult, I'm ashamed though. I've not been in touch for a while. I'm really sorry. I'll put ashamed emoji. And when the person responds, conversation starts. Just like it's not like there was bad blood or enmity of
Mhm.
anything like that. Life just happened, and you just get caught up with things and not reaching out to people, right? Um, Basically, that's where, and if I happen to see you in person, the first thing I do is whether from front of Obaga, first of all, hug you first. Women, no, not men. I'll just greet you, men. Women, I'll basically just hug you first. And you're now, who is that? Who is
Yeah.
that? Who is that? And by hugging you alone, offense is resolved. We
Melted.
move on
Yeah.
like nothing happened. So that's how I handle. So and if I haven't reached out for so long, sometimes I feel so ashamed, really. That's me. And like I said, I first of all tease myself. And sometimes when I greet you back, say you have not really, I say you safe, you abandoned me. So it takes two to tango. So we start on a lighter note and we'll move on from there. So I basically try and do that on a lighter note, on a teasing, whatever. I find light ways of, stepping in. I'm breaking grounds again. We start off from where we stopped. That's how I
Mm.
do mine. So I like I said, if there's no, I mean, if somebody and you separated based on some serious disagreement, sometimes in such cases you just redefine yourselves.
Yep.
Everyday friendship must not happen for you to be in touch.
Mm.
Those ones maybe you will now find what puts you in the same nexus, what puts you together. You find common grounds that keep you grounded with each other. You
Okay.
don't have to be friends to stay friends. You just find a purpose that brings you together. I mustn't share personal things and all that. So in such cases, if I need that, my husband tells me that when I want to talk to people, because I was a marketer before, so I will do the marketing. The way I enter, you don't say you're talking too much. Just say hello, hi, how are you? You find something and just ask what you want and move. But me, I want to greet the whole wide world. As I find the family, I the kids, is this. I said, no, don't. Where are you going? You're looking for something. So I tend to, streamline in some certain relationships, while in others, like I said, I just bring myself down really. If I
Uh,
know that I've not been in touch, I just bring myself down because there's nothing to be proud about. There's no air about it, nothing. Just say, oh, sorry. I don't even say, well, I've not reached out to you. I'm sorry. I'm ashamed of myself that we have not been in touch. And that's how I think I break ground with coming back into communication with people I've lost touch with for a very long time.
Yeah. So I just want to like the experience of outgrowing friendship. What did it teach you? Just hold on. Just hold on. Yeah, you can answer me. I'm here.
The experience of outgrowing friendships. Okay, so like I earlier mentioned, friendships, we grow friendships in phases. Like I
Yeah.
said, some are from your childhood, some they are rekindled when you're adults, and sometimes that's which held you bound when you were children, um, or let's say teenagers. Yes, teenagers, children, teenagers. Somehow you find a balance to still hold yourself together. So let's even assume that your 6 friends. Let's give a scenario of say we were friends from say secondary school. After secondary school, we all went to maybe different unis. A group or two went to the same uni while all of you scattered around, but somehow after uni, something brings you guys but post, you're not working and everything, something brings you back together. Now, even with that friendship, let's say of sex, you find there's still cluster of friendships within that group, that wider friendship,
Absolutely.
because you start finding that 2 of you out of the 6, you share similar interests. You are alike in your mindset or your values, how you address issues. You gravitate towards each other within that.
Yeah.
Still within that full 6, for example, 6 or 8 people in that bucket of friendships.
Yeah.
But you cluster together because of certain mindsets and ideologies you share. So it means that when there are some sort of emotional, very deep personal issues, you kind of share it with that one person you've gravitated to because you share similar mindsets. Then where there are broader, wider issues, you share it with that larger body, right?
Mm.
You know who to go to when you need somebody to be strong, as in somebody who wants to break barriers for you. Then somebody who you want to tell your innermost secret, you go to that person. You know, you just segment it like that, right? Now, then you find out that you are all of you in that friendship. You are in different phases of your life. Maybe let's say it's a women's group. Some are married, some are married, some are business people, some are working class people. You know, different buckets of people like that. Then you find even within that group, you have larger groups again, right? Now, sometimes with time, you find that utterances begin to separate you from some of them.
Yeah.
Right? I give you a typical scenario. So there was I once was in like an old girls group where somehow in the past, one of the person within, so you now broke down into there's a group, then there's like the ESCO group and all that. Now within that ESCO group, one of us within the ESCO kind of was close enough to know about a personal situation with somebody in the larger community group. So you know how women are. Sometimes bickerings break out that tends to outblow themselves into quarrel. Very mundane things, really. Because you know, women, they say our strength is in our mouth, you know. So in the course of that, the lady that was in the ESCO, because she was privy to certain things that the other person in the larger group knew that was very personal, she just let go of herself and said everything in the larger community group, you know. So after that, I'm like, excuse me, some of us are here because we went to, maybe we belong to the same alma mater, not because I know how you are post whatever, but I felt that there are some things that we were taught that we hold as gold that you would not do, or at a certain settle of maturity or seniority, something shouldn't come out. But the lady went all out and said some horrible things. I'm like, I was in shock. I think at that day I said I wanted to resign. I didn't want to do it again because I couldn't be in the same space with somebody who could do that to somebody because you had such, you know, private information about that. So mentally, I distanced. I mean, I didn't have to resign eventually, but I distanced myself from her because I got to know that in anger, this person can make some utterances that could be damning, that could be, So I kind of, yes, we belonged in the same whatever, but I gave a distance of space. It made I couldn't go beyond a certain level of communicating or friendship or whatever. I spoke with her, but I knew the extent of anything that was public knowledge is what I would share with her.
Yeah.
I would never in my weakest or whatever moment think I want to share an atom of anything that I consider personal or private as the case may be. So that transcends to even closer friendships. So when you now find people who are not fitting into the right path that you're going into, or for instance, let's say you have friends that maybe at a phase in your life, some were married, some are single, but it's easy to go out, hang out, do some certain outings and, outings like that, hang out as friends. Then say, for instance, you now go get married. That lifestyle can't work for you anymore because your priorities are now shifting.
Changed, yes.
They have changed. So any friend who expects you to be, or let's say even the friend entered into marriage way before you and you got into it later, you can't expect my lifestyle to be the same as what it was before because priorities are now different. I'm focusing on different things, or maybe I'm going into a new job that requires, some sort of, I don't need to be out there a lot. I need to be more circumspect. I need to be quite closed instead of where I find myself. But the person does not understand that, life has shifted. Things have to be done differently. And it maybe brings friction. And us as the ladies, when your uptime for me drops from say 70 to say 30, some acrimony starts to build. Then you now feel, okay, maybe because you're a bit more successful than me, maybe then the jealousy begins to build. The comparison begins to build. Sometimes you're not told. Sometimes it's body language you begin to find out from. So at such point, you need to know when to begin to say, okay, it's like we've picked at where we share mindsets, where our values are aligned. You don't even maybe throw them out totally, but you begin to, if the person is not going to reform to the new you or to the new realities of you, you have to unemotionally begin to redefine yourself because at the end of the day, it's self-survival first before you gather every other person in your survival mode to go along with you. So if the person's values does not align with yours in your phases that you find your work, be it family, be it work, be it any phase you find yourself in, like mental situation and all that, you need to just begin to gravitate in the direction to seek new relationships that would feed you, that will balance you, that will create a good sense of worth holistically. Because toxic relationship or friendships ultimately destroy you, whether you like to agree or not. So that's how I see having to separate from friendships. I hope I answered that right.
Thank you so much, Rita. That was really, really, really enlightening. Honestly, I didn't look at it from that way. Bukola, so what does now she talked about healthy supportive friendship, so what does that now look like for you in practice, and how do you now set boundaries with friends and still maintain that level of closeness with them?
I think that healthy friendship healthy friendship or sisterhood is one who celebrates you, is one who is there for you, is one who, is able to cover your area of weakness. So when you have friends, it has to be, I support you, you support me. And when it comes to boundaries, I think one of the issues that usually happens with friends is expectation. When you have expectation and it's not communicated to the next person, then there is strife. Strife begins to build, and then there is, jealousy. And to have a healthy boundary, I think sometimes you either need to tell people or show people how to love you or how to be a friend to you. Because sometimes people are not in your mind. They are not assistant Holy Spirits. They can't read your mind. But you need to, open your mouth to let them know, oh, this is how I like things. Because some people genuinely would do something in a way they seem is right. And that is right does not mean it's applicable to you. So you should be able to communicate as a friend, like, oh, when I'm going through things, I don't really like to talk about it until when I've, thought about it. But some friends can see clearly that, oh, something is wrong with you. And then they keep saying, oh, what's wrong with you now? You're not saying anything. And then because you're not talking, then they get angry. But because you have a different way of processing that kind of situation, you want to think on it, you want to strategize first, and then come and say, oh, this was what was happening. I thought about doing this, but let me hear what you have to say. Like,
Oh,
what's your opinion?
oh,
What do you think? So
oh.
people, what's that?
No, I said, or maybe they're angry because they feel you're not a baby. So they'll see what's wrong.
Well, maybe that, but
I don't know why.
maybe that,
No,
but a lot of times people just need to communicate how they want to be
yeah.
taken care of. And there are
Yeah.
different areas, even when it comes to celebration, when it comes to grief, when it comes to different things, if you, communicate how you want someone to celebrate you. And there's some people that take birthdays so seriously. They want you to message them, post them on your status,
Facebook.
call them, sing them, post them on Facebook, even though you've not been there in 1 year, send the voice notes. So if one of those five things is missing, they can take offense, even if you gave them three out of those five. So people have a way they want to be celebrated, and it can be a lot, to be honest. But sometimes, if you cherish those friendship and this person is just 1 day in the year, I need to give this person all they take, or all it takes for them to be happy. So you give them their all, and it's the same way in response too. If you already communicated that, oh, during my birthday, I like this. I went for on Saturday. I went for my cousin's proposal, and my cousin is a guy, right? So the lady who is proposing to, a friend was there. And, they were deliberating, oh, should we all go inside and come out later? She was like, no, no, no. She had told me this is what she wanted. She had told me this. Having this kind of friend to be able to say, this is what she wants and this is what will make her happy, it made me feel happy seeing that kind of friendship, because you don't just want it to happen because you are like, oh, I don't even know when to do my turn or something. No, no, no. She was like, she has told me about all the details she wants. I want us to put all these details into it. So
Mm,
having that, right mindset and good boundary, I think it just helps to have a healthy friendship holistically.
okay. Well, thank you so much for the last question, because you're almost, out of time.
Hmm.
What role does accountability not play in real friendship? So, top you have to answer it. So, who wants to go first?
Accountability. Hmm. I, I think accountability, be who you, well, I don't know. Practice what you preach. Be who you say
Mm-hmm.
you are. Um, Truth is, we all have friends that we don't really care for certain characters that they have,
Yeah.
but because of love, and the sisterhood that we share, it takes a lot to overlook certain characters and just put them in certain buckets of, to know that, oh, in this world there's a friend I have. You can't practically tell her she's wrong about certain things when she's on an emotional roll, because she will roll over you too. You understand?
Hmm.
But somehow she's very good. I mean, she's an angel when she's an angel every day of the week, except when she's emotional about certain things. But on my own, being accountable, the best I can be is to tell her when she's wrong. And I tell her, if I don't tell you that you're wrong, then I'm not a good friend. In all of those times of the blowouts and stuff, my own is, if I'm not telling you where you're wrong, then I'm not a good friend to you. I'm feeding on your ego, even though there's other set of friends that would, like, as she's doing it, they will support. But I said, if I'm not honest with you, I'm not an honest friend, and that's the only way I can help you, right? Sometimes I try to be the voice of objectivity when things are happening, because we all can be mad at the same time.
Yeah.
So I try to be accountable in good behavior, and as best I can, as I can, common sense. That's how I try to be accountable with my friends. I do not know if I practice what I preach you, but I think to an extent that I do, because you cannot all the time self-assess. You can only tell yourself you do the best that you can at all times. It only takes the next person to say. Sometimes they tell me, me it's good the two shoes. You are the one that has to be positive, and I'm like, yeah, I just have to be honest about certain things. So I try to be accountable myself when there's a lot of emotional mess going on, and bringing. I said no, we all can dive in when people are using certain wrong languages and like, no, you can't say this about this person or use certain words, because when tensions are cool, you have to go back to that person. So you just have to be accountable for your words and your behavior amongst your friends and with yourself. And that helps you to be grounded, to be more objective, to see the wider picture and not get lost in the emotions of things as they happen.
That's
Thank
really
you.
profound,
Thank you so
Rita.
much, Bukola.
There's something that I have heard Mrs. Bukwa Woshika say, and she usually says, "To thyself be true." I think one of the ways that I am accountable to my friendship is by being true to myself. And what does that mean? That means, like, if I want a friendly friend, I have to be friendly. Even the Bible says that for you to be like have a friendly friend, you must show yourself friendly. So the things I want my friends to do for me, I try to, as much as possible, do those things and mirror it to them. Another thing is, like Rita said, there are different people with different behaviors, and the ability to compartmentalize and leave room for people's excesses, sometimes it helps. And then when they are done with the emotional roller coaster, going back to them to let them know, I think you could have handled it this way, I think you would have handled it a certain way. Having friendships where you can tell them the truth without being fearful of them stop being friends with you or leaving you, I think that's like true accountability. Being able to say, at this point in time, I think you didn't do that so well, or you really did that well. I love the way you handled it. Applauding them when need be and calling them to order when need be. I think that's true, accountability in friendship.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Is there any other thing you want to add? Any one of you? Or maybe you felt like you've not saying something you still want to say. I don't know
I
why.
think
I don't know why I'm giving you guys this opportunity because we're already out of time. So let's just know.
anyways, I think for me, I would say that sisterhood, friendship, building a community of great sisters is not one that does not have, its own imperfection. There is always going to be one situation, one person, or different things. I think, but the major thing that should ground everyone in different sisterhood or community should be love, should be the ability to be honest with one another, and having to be consistent in their lives, consistency in their lives, consistency in your own life. I think those are the things that breed the ground for good friendship and also growth in having a community of great sisters.
So for me, I would say to thyself be true, and be open. Try to open yourself to make great friends. You don't need a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You just need to be able to dimension the ones with time, because don't jump into friendships, especially when you're making new ones. Assess what is true to you at a certain phase of your life and decide who you want in your life as well. I'm not very big on cutting off friendships. I may not talk to you for a while, but I don't know how to, except you've terminally hurt me, really. But aside of that, it's really tough because I know it takes me a while, because I kind of read off vibes from people, body languages and stuff. So it takes me a while. But when I start to talk to you, so I always say, really, always the life of the party. That's because I like to make friends, and I know I make a lot of friends, but not everybody's within that circle of sharing certain things with me. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But over time, you create great friendships. Understand who shares like mind, like ideology, who's happy to be in your space, really.
Yes.
Because some people, sometimes you're blind to what true feelings anybody holds for you, and you can only pray and hope for the best. Show your true heart at all times, and I'm sure God, in all His majesty and infinite mercies, will preserve you in true light of good friendship and in the community you find yourself. There's no point to keep hurt down. If it's hurtful to you, if it's really detrimental to you and hurtful to you, take a walk, leave it. It's not by force. Just take a walk. Then when you find them there, hold them there and hold them close. That's all for me, I think.
Thank you so much. I really want to really sincerely appreciate you guys for coming. Although we took time, but it was worth it.
You said
So
15 minutes at most.
I mean, we don't pass 15 minutes now.
It's 51. Is it already 51?
Not me. But I'm actually very, very happy that you guys came, honestly. Especially you, Rita, because you said you're not. It's not something that you're strong to. And you see, now you got to give me. Now you got to talk. They go like this. You see, I think with time you'll find it very interesting. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Bukola.
No
You go
worries.
come. You go come. I'll invite you and you go
No
come. Thank you
worries.
so much, Rita and Bukola.
Thank
I
you for
really want to
having me.
sincerely appreciate it. I always give some closing remarks before we go. I just want us to pause and acknowledge, the quiet strength in the room, the stories we've had today, the stories we shared, the honesty that we've offered, the truth. That has reminded us that sisterhood is not a flawless idea. It's a living, breathing relationship that, grows with us. And friendship between women has always been, sacred. It carries laughter, disappointment, hard, dreams, griefs, everything. Because anytime I see you guys, it's always like a genuine connection that never disappears. If you guys are going in for each other, and it's always very wonderful to see. What we have talked about today is the courage that it takes to show up, who you guys are, not as you think you should be. It's asks sisterhood in the whole sense. It asks for presence, not perfection. It asks us to celebrate each other genuinely and to hold space for each other's humanity and to believe that we are better, stronger, and a more whole when we choose community over comparison. You don't have to compete with each other, you just have to love each other. So, as we leave this conversation, I just want to hope you guys carry the truth with you. They are worthy of friendships that nourishes your spirit, challenges you lovingly, and honor who you are becoming. So thank you so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate you guys' time, your candor, your honesty. I pray that God in His infinite mercies will also see you through whatever friendship you are going through. Thank you so much. No, till we see again. You guys are invited anytime. You guys have time because I always like to talk about female topics once every month because I feel like yes, it's good for the spirit. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate. Thank you so much,
No
Rita.
worries.
Thank you, Mrs. Courage. Bye bye.